Hey everyone, I know it's been quite some time since I've done a video. This thing's been covered up all winter. I just finally took the cover off of it, and so it's just as good as ever. And I've got a lot of things planned for this car this year. Today I don't have a ton of time. I just want to do something little, something I think is going to really make a big difference in the interior, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So these cars now are getting quite up in years, I would say, and interior panels like this, I don't think Honda meant them to last a lifetime. This material here is just coming off, worn out in the elbow area, which is expected for a car of this age. And then the armrest as well. Fabric's just worn out. So my plan is, if you see these Recaro style confetti floor mats I got those from eBay, and I don't know, I just thought they were cool. I like the nostalgic look of them, and this car has this kind of confetti coloring in the back seat, so to me it just fit. So what I found online is this exact material they make these floor mats out of wherever they're made. You can buy the material by the yard, so I bought a yard of it, and I'm going to cover the door panel inserts and the armrest with it. I think it'll flow really nice. So I'm going to get taking these pieces off. I'm not going to show you all that. I'm sure it'd be pretty boring to watch me remove a couple door panels and stuff. So once again removed, we're going to figure out how to remove those inserts from the door, which probably will involve taking out some rivets and things. I don't think they come off just with screws or very easily. Armrest should be pretty easy. Get into that. Alright, well that didn't take long. I got the driver's side door panel and the armrest off. I figured I would just do this one, go through the process, do the other one off camera, and then, you know, whatever. So, these aren't the original door panels to the car. When I originally tore this car down, first time I owned it, back in 2005-ish, 2006, the car was going to be a track car. I got rid of all the power windows, everything. I had manual crank windows in here, so I had changed the door panels to crank ones. These were sourced by the owner that I sold it to, so these aren't as perfect as my original ones. Mine were pretty mint because they were really only like 8 years old or something. So these are kind of floppy. I'm going to try to fix that as I go into taking this thing apart. Now, it's got these plastic, I don't know, hot melted in there. I think it's actually hot melt, like type fasteners. So I'm going to have to try to drill those out and then see how we can get this thing back together. I know it's possible. I know people have done it. I'm sure we can figure it out. I might have to go with rivets when I get it back together. We'll see. Hopefully it's nothing too crazy. But as for the floppy part of this panel, you can see this window gasket wiper, whatever you want to call it. It's kind of popping out of the panel. I have to try to rectify that. Looks like it's pretty messed up. These things are getting old, like I said, and they're getting brittle and stuff like that. So I'm gonna grab a drill and I guess drill these out, maybe even sand them off. I don't know. I think I found what I'm going to use, just a like countersink bit. Kind of just gets the top outer ring off. And I think it's almost like a post, a molded post coming off the door panel. That will be able to put a rivet, like a washer and a rivet in, I think. So once I get them all off, we'll see. Alright, nice. I didn't think the material would actually peel like that. Give this a light scuff and a clean. I think we'll be able just to spray some adhesive and put the new material right on. Alright, there's our old gray material. And we can't chuck this in the trash right away. We're going to use this as a template. Try to flatten it out the best we can on the new material, make an exact piece, then it should be easy. The other stuff might stretch a little easier than this, but it really shouldn't affect things. But I did find something else. Those hot melt fasteners like just held that piece on. There's a couple, or actually 3 right here that are completely popped off. So that's probably why the door panel did feel so loose and spongy. And it is exactly what I thought. There's little plastic molded posts in here. Some are very short, some are, you know, taller than the others, but I think they'll work perfect for rivets. I have a pretty big rivet set. Hopefully I have enough. We'll just clean these up a bit, level them all out, and when we go to reinstall it, just use a washer and a rivet. It should be just as good, if not better, than these factory plastic melt type deals. So I'm pretty stoked. I think it's going to go a little easier than I thought. Alright, the only rivets I have left, unfortunately, are 1/8 inch for an 1/8 inch hole, which for the most part should work for all these. As for the other part of the door panel that had fallen apart, those holes are more like at least 5/16 or larger. So I'm going to have to run to the hardware store to get something for that, but I think these will work. So I took a little scraper razor blade, leveled all of them off to where they're at least somewhat flat. The holes go over them anyway, so it's not too critical, but just for the washer to sit on later. So I'm going to go ahead and go through all these. Some of them are just about perfect already. I'm going to go through every hole or every post with a 1/8 inch drill bit and just lightly drill a little pilot hole for these to sit into, and hopefully they have enough grab on there. I think they will. If not, I'll run and just get some larger ones also. Alright, and here's our Recaro confetti material. It's actually really nice, thick stuff. If you want to know where I purchased this from, I got it from AliExpress through the app. It was like $21 shipped from China. Came pretty quick, like a week and a half, almost somewhere around there. This is the side that's meant to be used, but the other side is actually kind of cool looking as well. You could really use it that way too if you really wanted to. This is just a small tester piece I cut out of the main whole yard of it, but pretty neat. So I'm going to lay some of this out and start making our new piece for the door panel. I went about a 1/4 inch bigger all the way around to try to give myself a little bit of extra wiggle room in case it doesn't stretch as much. Hopefully it works. Hopefully I didn't have to go bigger. I should still have enough, if so. So start test fitting on there and see how it goes. Initial looks, I think we're gonna be fine, I think. I did a little scuffing with a gray Scotch-Brite. I'm not gonna go overboard. To get this old glue off would be a nightmare, and I think it probably will actually help the new stuff kind of bite into it. At least that's what I'm hoping. I'm going to spray it down with some degreaser, scrub it real good. It's got a lot of old inner door panel dust, and what's even kind of gross is you can see where the dirt and sweat from someone's elbow actually soaked through. So pretty nasty. I'm kind of glad I'm doing this. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we'll come back when I'm getting ready to spray the adhesive on and start fitting it up. So we got the armrest piece out as well. It was real easy. It looks like this stuff actually has some sort of light foam backing to it. I looked. I don't have anything like that, and I remember back in the day when I had this car, I had recovered my original armrest because it was really wore out, and I didn't use any sort of foam backing, and it didn't feel too bad or anything. So I'm going to peel this off, and this is actually really heavily glued on there, and some of the foam stays behind. So let's pull this off and see if the texture's real bad. If it is, I'm going to have to try to sand a lot of that off so it's not lumpy looking. Actually pretty even texture. I think I might just run with that how it is, and it should be good because this material is pretty thick. I think it'll take up any small inconsistencies in it. think we're going to be good with that. What I am going to do, I'm not just going to jump straight in spraying adhesive and going straight to it. I think what I'm going to do is take a small scrap piece. I'm going to spray some adhesive on here, let it tack up for a while, and then try that, because I'm going to try to mitigate the wet adhesive straight out of the can soaking through the material. I think if I let it sit and tack up for a few, I'll have better luck with it not soaking through, because this is a woven fabric, so it does have some space in between there. Once you start stretching it, I don't want the adhesive to come through and then just ruin the whole piece. So I'm going to do a little tester on both pieces and see how it goes. So first attempt, sprayed some adhesive on here, kind of stippled it in with a little acid brush, sprayed a little more, let it sit for like, I don't know, roughly 5 minutes. I got a little impatient, and that first go around did not work too well. It this is the wrong side of the material, but see that? It kind of seeped through when I started to pat it down. So peeled it off, went again, let it sit for about 15 minutes or so, stuck this on, gave it a nice little rub and a pat, and not a single bit squeezed through, and it's already pretty well adhered on there. So I think that's the ticket. I'm going to practice on this, and it's a smaller piece. I already got my outer piece cut. I'm going to spray the whole thing down with adhesive, set a timer for 15 minutes or so, come back, stick it on, and yeah, look at that. That's going to go on there nice. I don't think I'll have to worry about that coming up at any time. All right, moment of truth. I have adhesive all over my piece. It's nice and tacked up. Now I get to set it on here, and I really only have one shot at this to get this right, or I got to start all over, which will be pretty rough. So I'm a little nervous here. I don't know the best way to go about it, if I should go from the bottom or from the top. I think I'm going to go from the top. Make sure this is the correct orientation. It is. That's not right. Alright guys, this is way trickier than I anticipated. I really should have used a larger piece, because I gotta get this almost perfect. Yeah, this is difficult. Alright, I think I'm just going to throw a big piece on there, because this is not working. Probably should have done this from the start. I'll waste some, but I really don't care at this point. I'll just trim it as I go, I guess. So far, it's laying down nice. gonna have to use a trim tool to really get it in them corners. Whew, alright, that was stressful. Holy crap. Alright, I'm going to quickly trim all around this and try to get all the edges in before the stuff sets up. Okay. Whew. Overall, it, excuse me, it laid down pretty dang nice. Just got to work the corners and edges in. I think we'll be in good shape. Pattern's pretty straight since I did that in a hurry. Thankfully it went on kind of straight. Use one of these plastic trim tools to try to really push the edges and corners in there nicely. Alright guys, I am very, very pleased with that. That turned out great. I mean, realistically, I think once it goes back together, it could look like an OEM option. I think I'm even going to go ahead and spray some adhesive around the outside, fold it over just to kind of keep it a little bit better in place. But I used that trim tool. So you can see I got that indent where the window control switch and everything goes really nicely. Overall, it turned out great. Even the corners where I had to stretch didn't really bunch up or wrinkle. Man, I can't wait to get this thing back together. I think it's going to look so good. Alright, so it's about a week after the last clip, actually a week and a half or so. Partway through that job, I didn't show it. I sliced my thumb really bad, down to the bone, cut nerves and everything. It was a disaster, so I had to put it on hold, and to be honest, it's been kind of crappy weather anyway, and this thing sits outside under two covers. Understandably, the S5 gets garage priority, so sometimes, to be honest, I just don't have the motivation to move 3 cars, pull the covers off, push this thing in the garage and all that so I can have somewhere warm to work. So now that the nicer weather is upon us, I'll be getting more done. But anyway, back to it. I pretty much got everything done. Passenger panel, the armrest, and the driver's panel are wrapped with our really cool Recaro confetti style fabric. But what I'm going to do is pull this panel back off because I just don't like how I mounted this one. I figured out a better way for that one. I'm going to pull this one back off, show you guys what I did, and even give some recommendations on how you might want to do it and what you might want to use for materials if you decide to do this yourself, because it was kind of a pain in the butt to figure out a proper way, to figure out a way that actually worked well and that I think will hold up. So here's our panel, and if you can see, which I talked about earlier in the video, let me get this better. I used some big flat washers and actual just aluminum pop rivets, which on this door panel seemed to work better than the other one for whatever reason. The plastic standoffs on this one were tighter for some reason, or whatever the case, and the rivets actually bit into 75% of it. But there are some that are missing, and it's a little floppy. That's what I don't like. So I'm going to drill all these out and show you what I did on the other panel, which seemed to work far better. If you're going to do it this way, I'd recommend clearing a little area near each of the mounting points so the glue has something to bite into other than just the fabric. It'll mount to the actual panel itself. So that's what I did. Kind of a tedious process. Ask me how I know. Not very fun. So maybe plan ahead, trim your fabric ahead if you're going to do it better than I did. If you're more skilled at, upholstery work. You'll probably be able to figure it out because this way kind of sucks. So now I'm going to go ahead and get it mounted back to the door panel. What I'm going to use is, that's right, hot melt glue gun. Your basic old grandma's, mom's crafting tool. It's pretty useful stuff at some times. These glue sticks are like a medium to heavy duty, and I know there's different grades. These actually seem to work really well. So we'll see how they hold up. I'm doing this as an experiment. I'll let you guys know if something ever happens. I'll make an updated video on it, but I think it's going to work out just fine. Alright, so what you're going to see on your panel after you get rid of the melted plastic fasteners that hold this insert on, you'll have these little standoffs. And they should all be a pretty standard size, but some of them do deform from when they melt them. As you can see, the rivet only held in 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. So not really a great option with the rivets. What I think would work, besides what I'm doing, is taking your little interior fasteners you can find at AutoZone or any of the auto parts stores in the spare section. Maybe not this type with the, the screw-in piece, but the ones that are almost like barbed, the little push ones. Maybe put some sort of adhesive in there, put your panel on, pop those in, and adhesive the backside. I think that would be a great option. Almost kind of ends up being like the way they did it originally. What I'm going to do is what I did on my other one. Put a little bit of hot glue on this and on the actual insert panel, pop it on there, hot glue it from the back into here, and it almost kind of makes like a plug. And the hot melt glue sets up pretty quick, a couple minutes, so I'll try to show that the best I can. Might be a little difficult, and it's kind of messy, so you have to be careful that you don't get the glue on the outer part of your fabric that you just spent all your time putting on. That would not be a good time. Here we go. I'm going to do the top side first. Just get a little bit on the back side. Not going overboard here because I don't want to get anything on my fabric. It's the only problem with this stuff. Look at that. It can get a little messy. Just gotta be careful, that's all. Alright. Carefully place this back down in there. And what I did was just push some down through the hole, kind of smear it around the backside to make like a kind of backside of the fastener, just like the hot plastic fastener was from the start. And it seemed to work pretty well on the other one. And it might take a little bit of manipulating to get it back on there and hold it for a few minutes while the glue sets up. Really doesn't take that long. We can let it set up for a minute, flip it over, and hope that we don't have glue on our nice new fabric. I don't think we will. When at it goes. excess off. Kind of ends up like spider webs or something. See how she looks. Nice and tight right through here, which was an issue as well last time. Sweet. I'm pretty happy with that. I like it. There's a few more little things I'm going to address on this panel that are a little loose and floppy. I'm going to do that off camera. It's nothing real exciting. I'll show you the end result. We'll throw it back in. Push the car outside. It is not a bad day out. Not optimal car washing weather. It's like 42 degrees, but the sun's out. It's actually pretty decent. I'm going to wash this thing, if you can see that in the camera. All this like blue dusty stuff. I have a old OEM Honda soft cover, and for whatever reason every time I put it on it leaves all this dust. I might need to try to like pressure wash it, try to get it all off or something. I don't know, but nevertheless it needs a wash. But I figure I'd go ahead and try to get some nice B-roll of the way the inside of this thing looks. It looks freaking sweet. I am so happy with it. It gives me those, like I said before, like JDM SIR or UK VTIR vibes with the way that it looks. I'm really happy with it. Not so much door panels themselves. Like I said, they got a little things that bug me. Overall, you can't really see it by looking at it, but I know that they're kind of weak and crappy, so I need to replace them in the future. We'll see. Alright guys, we're in the car. We'll take it for a quick drive. I can't resist. Quick look around. This thing's been sitting all winter. I'm excited to just take it for a quick cruise, especially since it's clean, might as well. Take you guys along for the heck of it. Oh, it's so slow, but so fun. Cannot wait to get more power in this thing. Nothing like running a yellow with a cop in front of you, huh? Alright guys, so we're done. I'm super duper happy with the way this fabric recovering turned out. It's everything I hoped it would be. So final thoughts on it, if you guys really wanted to do this yourself, some things I would recommend having. Of course, one, you're going to need your fabric, whatever it may be. If you'd like to use the same Recaro style confetti fabric that I bought, I'll put the link in the description. It was roughly $20, $22 shipped, I believe, not bad. Next thing you will need is, if you want to do it the way I did it, a hot melt glue gun and possibly those plastic inserts like I talked about. Overall, pretty easy job. Just took a few little things, you know, a few different ways to figure out which way works the best. I think this way was probably the best that I could think of. You may be able to come up with something different. Overall, not too bad of a job though, and I think the reward is well worth it for how cheap it is. You can also completely transform the interior of your Civic for under 25 bucks. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please like it, comment, you know, give me some comments, tell me what you think or what you would have done different, or if you have any questions. And if you like the video and you'd like to see more, please subscribe to see what I got coming. I have a lot coming up this year. Fabrication projects on the car. I'm also getting this thing to a track. We're hitting some track days. I don't care what it takes. We're doing it. So, hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching.